Hey guys, welcome
Hey.
back to Pray for Growth,
Woo!
where growth is a journey. So
So
let's
let's
keep
get learning. Keep
learning.
learning.
Keep learning. Um, Today's topic, episode 4, is going to be seasons of change, growing through what we go through. I love that.
Yes.
So it's been a minute since our last episode, and Gavin and I had a lot of things happen in our life recently. So we're just going to kind of talk about how we stay true to ourselves, throughout everything that we're going through and experiencing. So yeah,
Let's get into it.
that was actually kind of good. Look at me, I'm getting better at this.
Okay, so we're hopping into this.
Let's get into it.
So, Prais'Jah, how has life caught you off guard or forced growth since our last recording?
Yeah, a lot has happened since the last recording. It's been what, 2 months?
Has it been that long?
Or like a month?
I think it's been a month.
A month since our last recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even know where to start. I might potentially have a new job.
Woo, for a new job.
I went viral on TikTok, my first viral post. Not for what I expected it to be for, but still viral.
Right.
And I'm in week 11, the last week of Artist Way.
Okay.
So I'm almost finished with that journey. And what else has happened? I'm planning a launch party for my business, at least trying to get that started.
So y'all better come out and support.
Yeah. It's a little nervous. And yeah, that's about it. It's been a very weird space for me. I don't even know how to describe it, honestly.
And what of those things that you've listed caught you off guard where you were like, oh, I was not expecting that to happen?
All of them. So the job, I'll start with that one. That one caught me off guard. And I also got past the synchronicities part of the Artist Way.
Okay.
Right? So all of these kind of came up as synchronicities, like where it was divine timing, I guess you could say, or the timing was like comedic, like funny.
Right.
Okay, I get what you're doing, universe. But the job was actually a company that I previously interviewed with in July, and they basically came back around and reached back out to see if I was interested in a different position. We're still waiting on the proposal. That's the only thing here.
Right.
And so it's kind of gone to a thing where it's not on my time, even though you told me earlier today that I got to put myself back in the driver's seat.
Yes.
They reached out to me. But my financial situation right now puts me in a predicament to where there's still this desperate energy.
Desperate.
And I honestly came to the realization that I have a really big block with work. So I'm still trying to figure that out. And maybe if that has something to do with, even if this is not a delay, well, it's clearly after the time that he told me he would get back to me, right? Which is okay. But there's clearly something else at play that's triggering me to where this time I'm literally like, I've kind of like paralyzed myself in waiting.
And then I want to recall something you just said like 30 seconds ago. You're like this desperate energy. Desperation can also lead to paralyzation.
Yeah.
Using your words. But why is the desperate energy there? Like, there's no need for you to be, you're not desperate.
And that's where I've gotten to, is because I've lived my whole life up until now being the survivalist. And now I'm having to practice how to thrive. Because it's not like one day you just wake up and you're like, I'm going to start thriving. Now I know how to thrive.
Today is the day I thrive.
Yeah. It takes so much practice.
It does.
And part of it is like having that energy come into your space again so that you learn how to deal with it and have emotional resilience to handle it the proper way this time. Right. And not the old way you used to, like repeating the old patterns. Especially because I've never had a job reach out to me like this before. Usually I'm the one that's struggling and fighting to prove myself, but I'm in a different space now. We all know that, especially from the first 3 episodes. So I've been letting all this come to me. So, but still when it came up, it triggered that energy again. Immediately, old Prais'Jah wanted to come through and like, oh, I got a job. I'm so excited. Yes. Okay, let's figure out our lives. Like, let's plan our whole lives around this job.
But it's funny because like you said, doesn't happen overnight. We had a conversation earlier, and now that you're talking, when we were talking earlier, I think that's why you feel this desperate energy, because this old habit that you're breaking, you want to plan because you're always like, I need to know what's in the offer, I need to know blah blah blah. And like you say, you don't learn how to thrive overnight. I think part of the lesson is just like you're in the driver's seat. It's like, no, I got an offer and it is what it is, and I'm gonna go live my life, my beautiful life with all the things in it and the other things. And when the offer comes, I can look at it then and sort out what's best for me rather than like I gotta like do all of these
because
things.
life is about way more than work and pursuing.
Right.
Right. And sometimes we forget that there's so much life to be lived outside of all that. And that's why I've been doing Artist Way. And I've been literally cultivating that into my life. So we talked about doing all the fitness stuff. I realized I really have to be in my body, like to feel good about myself in my life. And it brings me joy and like family and friends. But as soon as that job came back up, like that trigger. And then obviously I told you about the launch party. As soon as that opportunity came up, that was also kind of a trigger where I immediately wanted to isolate, start working on something because I'm planning for this huge change.
Right.
But it's not from the energy of, like you said, thriving, like being a boss, being in the driver's seat. And even with that opportunity, when she told me the event wasn't going to be, what I expected, that outside guests weren't allowed. It was going to either be a private event or a building residence event. Right. I said yes at first because as Black people, I'm used to hearing no a lot. So as soon as I hear yes, or you can do it, or we want to do it, I don't even care if it's for me. I'm like, sounds good, let's go for it.
You gave me a yes. That's all I need to hear. Yes.
That's all I need to hear is yes. And then I'm not even listening to whether this is a good opportunity for me. And now I realize, like, oh shit, you're a boss. Like, you're your own boss. Like, you got to actually see, like, if it's going to be a good return on investment. And then when it wasn't, I was like, why did I do that? Like, why did I go so hard? Like, you know what I'm saying?
But it goes back to what you just said. It's when you're not used to hearing yes, you're only hearing no. There's something affirming and validating when someone tells you yes. So of course you want to make it happen and you want to please the person or make the moment, be what it, make that moment happen for yourself and the thing happen. So I don't think it's nothing to judge yourself on. It's information to say, I've been in a place where I haven't received yes or positive affirming energy from someone, from a stranger, someone outside of my inner circle. And this is what it feels like. But also too, like knowing what that yes feels like and still being clear headed enough to say, yes, you said yes to me, but I still have the power to say no to you.
And that's what I'm just now realizing, that I have the power to choose.
Right.
Like, we as Black women, like we don't have to say yes to just what we get because I'm used to surviving. Like, I'm just like, oh, I gotta say yes to this job because I need this job. I say yes to this opportunity because I need this for this. Like, now it's like, no, like, this is your launch party. If you don't want it to work out that way, then just say no.
Right.
And like you said, why don't you just start looking for other venues within your price point, or asking, like, giving them your mission, and just like you did with her, to also get the space for free from them. And I'm like, oh, like, right, I have to go out there and do that. Like, I have to make it happen. Like, I'm now at that space where I can.
Right.
Like, I see it unfolding, like, especially the way the Artist Way puts it in your face. Like, even though it's crazy because, like I said, I'm still in a predicament where I'm looking for work, or I need work. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting way to like transition to like living your life. That's the update with me, guys. It's been a lot.
That's a lot going on.
So, how has life caught you off guard since we last met? What's been up with you?
Oh, baby one.
Okay,
but it's fine. I would say the biggest things that I've been up to is that the last month and a half, for my version of Lent, I did fast 3 days out of the week. Gave up food, for 18 hours a day. I did eat a little bit, but I did a version of a fast.
18 hours a day? Holy.
I ate 6 hours and then fasted the other 18.
A small
window of eating.
That's crazy.
So I think in that a lot of things came out for me emotionally and mentally, uh, about myself and how I move through the world and about the things that I want and how I manifest those things or how I go about how I go about getting those things. And I realized for me that I have a tendency, not that I'm impatient, but like if I'm working at something and it's not quite going the way, then it's easy for me to sometimes pivot. And pivot not because the universe is telling me to pivot, but pivoting because of my own uncomfortableness and the difficulty of whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so the last month has been me really working through that. I'll be doing a show at Philadelphia Fringe this September, so I'm excited about that. But even with that, I told you, like, even like the application, like, I didn't want to, there was an application for that, filling out for this festival, and it was like 27 pages. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because it's like, I don't want to do it. 27 pages is a lot. I got so much more to do in my life. I'm like, I'm still doing this thing, you know? And the following day, like, I just had a moment of clarity. It was like, Gavin, just do it. Like, this is you saying you don't want to be uncomfortable doing the thing that it is. Basically, you don't want to put in the work. Because also too, I feel like I do have a sense of entitlement sometimes with myself that I go, I've worked so hard, I don't want to work. And we said that, right?
Ego.
I've worked so hard, I shouldn't have to work hard. But I know in life that everything requires effort. You get to a point where certain things require less effort, but there is always a certain amount of effort being put into things. And so for me to say that I don't want to do that work because that's beneath me is me like undermining my own potential. So that was revealed to me. I've just really been laying low since the last time, just really doing the work that we talk about because I know that there's a lot of me. Previous episodes, I was always talking about some stuff that I was going through. And I just want you to know I'm still going through the stuff. But I see growth. I see growth for me in how I'm dealing and managing my emotions and my expectations of myself. So reclaiming my own power around my life in general and how I relate to people emotionally is a big part of that. And let me tell you something that I discovered that my love in general, love that I give to people, love that I give to friends, is like my superpower.
Oh my gosh, Gavin!
And it's so powerful.
This is like these are like soul meetings. No, for real.
Yes, and I find and through this doing fasting and doing all of these things and just like reflecting, I find that there's been most definitely periods in my life and even now where I've undermined my own superpower for the sake of self-preservation or the sake of fitting in or the sake of whatever weird thing I came up in my head because I'm like, it's not supposed to be like, oh, I shouldn't behave this way or do this way. So I'm slowly becoming comfortable in every aspect of me. I shouldn't say comfortable, but I'm saying like fully walking into all of my power.
Walk into all your power and acceptance of every single part of you. And what you were going to say earlier was what you were talking about earlier. I thought about it and I was like, I experienced the same thing because there's something about the uncomfortableness of being a beginner, like the frustration that you have of not knowing how to do it. And then ego comes into place because you feel like you've already worked so hard, right? And you should be at a certain space. So then it kind of distracts you from taking those, as Julia would say, the small steps, feeling out the form. Julia is the artist, the author of Artist's Way. She says, take the small steps, fill out the form. And in this case, this is literally what you had to do. Before you get back into acting, before you get into producing or doing anything in theater, you have to fill out the form. And in this case, you literally had to fill out the
form. And I was like,
form.
I don't want to do it because I done this ish before.
Yeah.
Why I gotta, like, this is what my ego is telling me. And I'm like,
you know, you're like, I'll just distract myself with life. And with and this is life.
And
this is life. This is literally what life is. We think it's not capitalism, but it is.
It is life. And so yeah, so like that's been my what's been happening. Not as exciting as all of your things. No,
that's very exciting.
But most definitely reflection and self growth. I also had a birthday a couple of weeks ago, so I'm a year older.
Yes.
Took a trip.
You went out the country.
I did. Much needed vacation for my birthday. So I just feel good about life. I feel good about life and I feel good about myself.
I love that. I think we're in the same space.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And I dyed my hair.
Right, yes, right. We haven't even talked about. Clearly something has changed since the last episode.
They're like, he's talking about everything.
Yeah, literally.
Except dyeing his hair. Yes, I dyed my hair.
Isn't he cute, guys?
Thank you. You can slide into the DMs.
He is single. He is single. But there are some requirements. Oh. Okay. So how did you recognize that you were kind of outgrowing an older version of yourself, an old version of yourself? So I feel like that's what we both have been doing.
I was listening to a talk by Tay. He's a Vietnamese monk. And one of his lectures, he was like, part of growth is knowing when what you learned at a certain point doesn't serve you anymore. Mm-hmm. And so what I realized for myself is that all of the previous lessons that I had learned in life about how I should be going through this or how I should be approaching that, like, they don't serve me for where I am now because I've evolved so much more. I'm like, yes, those lessons were true. They were true for me 5 years ago. They were true for me 10 years ago. They're not true to me now because for me now, I'm not at that level where I was 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. And to me, that was fearful because I thought that I was not being true to myself or being stupid or like, but I'm like, no, like this just doesn't work. And I realized that in the moment that I had with a close friend of mine. I consider this person to be my best friend. And we've been friends for about, I should say a close friend. We've been friends for about 15 years. And like, we've just not, like in the last year, we've just been bumping heads because we're at two different places. And the Gavin who I say love is my superpower, to be like, I love you, you're my friend, I'm going to love you and I'm going to ride with you no matter what. And I've been riding with you for these 15 years and what I'm going to do now. But then I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. Because like literally most of the conversations end in some type of disagreement or moment of discomfort that doesn't serve him and it doesn't serve me either. Yeah. And I had a hard conversation with him because we went a period without talking. And then he reached out and he was like, did you miss me? And I gave an honest answer. I said, no.
Now we can go back where you came from. But
and he was like, why? And it like opened the door for me to really express, to say, I love you and I care about you. And I know that you love me and care about me. But the friendship that was the friendship 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it's not that now.
Listen, what is this episode? Seasons change.
Right. But you're still my friend. You're just not a friend that I can talk to every day. You're just not a friend that I can go on trips anymore. There was a season for that. That season is not anymore. And he couldn't get it because he felt like it was a slight against him, that our friendship wasn't real. But I'm like, bro, in the last year or so, like, we both said some harsh things to each other that people who really love each other wouldn't say. And that's because we both have pushed each other out of our element because
we're not in the same space.
We're not in the same place. And also I think I recognized sooner than he did that it's like, oh, he's a different person. So because he's a different person, he's interacting with me differently, but he can't see it.
Right.
He's just like, oh, you're weird. And I'm like, well, I'm not being, I'm not being weird. It's like, I see a change now that I'm noticing.
Some people are comfortable with having friendships and relationships like that. I never am, but some people don't mind a relationship full of drama, like either because it's a source of entertainment or other reasons. But to them, they don't see it as a thing of, it's just like this is what friends do. Like we're just beefing. Like it's whatever.
Like this is not normal. Like we've never. And I was saying something like some of the spats that we've had in the last 6 months, like we've never had those. So to answer your question, that's when I knew that I'd grown. That things that or behavior that I would have tolerated or the way that we interacted with each other wasn't fulfilling me in the way that it used to.
Yeah.
And I can pretty sure with him, it's the same thing. And so when I recognize that, like, oh, like I'm at a place that my friendship with someone that I've known for a really long time have taken like a left turn. And so the challenge for me, or the thing that I was working through, is like, how do I still honor this person and love them for what they've been for me in my life, but to know like this season of closeness is not that season right now. And so I grieve that because I'm like, I wouldn't normally do that.
That's
I would just stick through it, and so it's been different. And at times I'm being honest, at times I feel guilt. I feel guilt for not reaching out. But it's like, I literally don't want to.
And that's what comes with like the pattern disruptions and setting boundaries. Right. Like that guilt, that's like literally part of it before the acceptance comes into play. And you're just like, this comes with it. But no, I feel you. I have friends like that too, though.
That I've grown out of,
Yeah, and I include them in certain things, and I'm always going to be there for them. You know, I always got their backs because I'm also that type of person. Like once we're down, we're down. As long as you don't do nothing deliberately to hurt me, right? Even if it's a case of your own like lack or downfall, I'm still going to have so much grace. But I understand that I gotta be with people on my level, in my space, and anything outside of that is just a waste of energy.
Because also too, like you say, I'm okay with a person not. You're always going to meet someone that's somewhere, right?
Yes.
And so for me, I always ask the question: Is this interaction with this person? If I feel like there's something about them I admire, like is this a interaction that's going to raise me, or if it's someone who I see that they might still have some growth to do? Am I in a position to help raise them a bit?
Yes. You know? Listen, when I go and hang out with this person, like, what is this going to do for my energy right now? And is it going to be good for me? If so, I'm going to go. If not, I'm going to opt out. And that's how I make my decision, literally.
But then it's also too, how receptive is the person? Yeah. And I think what I've learned about this particular friend is that we're in different places, but I think I know that what I'm giving, he's not receptive to it because it's different from what he's used to.
Yeah, his brain isn't connected in that way right now, so he can't even receive it.
And I've tried to say like, this is me where I am right now. Meet me there. And he's like, no. This is not you. It is me. It is me now. It is not me 15 years ago. And like, you can't use a 15-year-old reference to say this is what I should be, because everyone is constantly evolving. And if you, for instance, someone who's not evolved in the last 10 years, somebody's fucking lying.
Yeah, no, there's a problem.
There's a problem. Or someone's lying, or they're not, or they don't feel like they can be their authentic self with you.
Yeah, or it's a very surface level relationship. Right. That's very true. That's very, very, very true. Usually that is when you see all the movies. It's because it's a surface level relationship. Like, wow, I cannot get deep with you. You are not that person. Go figure. But no, I'm real good at this. Either we're on the same page or we're not. At the end of the day, that doesn't mean there's any hard feelings. Like you said, we're still cool.
So Prais'Jah, how did you recognize when you were outgrowing an old version of yourself?
I'm happy you answered that question first, because for me, it's been like little instances, not anything big, but it has been situations where I've handled it differently, and then I noticed, and I'm like, oh, I killed that. I'm proud of myself. Who is this new person? She's cool as fuck. Like,
I love that. She was like, who is this person?
Yeah, I'm like, huh. But one of the examples is like when I told you that me and my man got into like a little debacle, and normal Prais'Jah would have sat behind to try to be there for him because I'm a caretaker. So after he apologized, and normal pattern would be like, console you, drop everything to make sure we're good. But I was like, no, we still gonna be together tomorrow. We'll finish this conversation tomorrow. I'm gonna choose me, give you a kiss, give you a little rub, all right, and I'm gonna go. And we'll finish this once we're both cooled down. We can have a conducive conversation to move forward. And it's funny, I'm happy I did that because I realized it works for both of us. It's best for our relationship in general. But had I not did that, we'd have probably beefed all night. Like, we would have been good for that moment and then still beefed later.
Right.
And then when I linked up with you, I really needed that. I needed to vent. I needed to hang out with a friend. I don't do that to myself often enough. Right. I'll isolate myself, start working on something. If it's a sister or a loved one, I'm dropping everything. So I'm happy. That was a good example. So yeah,
she's growing.
Yeah, she's growing. And except for this last 2 weeks, I'm not gonna lie, I've had like kind of a relapse, like a regression, because there's been so much of that where I've been just completely different. I've been a completely different person, like from us even recording episode 1 up until now, like me doing the Artist Way, everything. So this past 2 weeks was really like a huge test because all of it started coming in kind of like at once in a time where usually old Prais'Jah, like I said, financial situations can cause you to feel desperate. Right. And I had to tell myself, like, money is not everything. No. You're okay. Right. You're safe. Like, my brain is still not wired in a way to believe that something bad is not going to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? We're used to having to like solve problems and work through things. So my brain has a hard time believing something's just gonna happen, like easily happen and unfold in a way. All I try to do is do A and B to get to C. And usually it comes to be some crazy ass equation at the end, right? And so my brain is used to that chaos and that like having to survive throughout that. So now that I'm in a softer era, soft girl era, my brain is having a hard time, especially when stuff like this comes up, computing like that I'm okay, that I'm safe.
You said a whole lot.
And that goes a lot back to childhood too. I know. I've been working through that.
I get it. Mm-hmm. I'm touching you like Oprah. I get it. But I think the difference for me is that I know that the path is windy and curvy, and that usually I'm up for the challenge, but then there are times where I'm like, no, I'm not up for the challenge. Because sometimes I do the curvy path and I get there because the path is so curvy that by the time I get to the end of the equation, I've allowed myself to not have no joy to celebrate that, or it's underwhelming of what I thought it would be, and it's like, oh,
and you just went through all those.
And I just went through all of that, and so sometimes when something presents itself that might seem like it's gonna be a why, I was like, I don't know, why do I have to? That's when I revert to the why. Do I have to? But I do fundamentally believe. And I think you hit it on the head for yourself. You said it probably goes for you, it goes back to childhood. But I do fundamentally believe that things will work out. Which is why when I do go on the path, that's the energy that takes me on the path. I'm like, this is gonna work out.
I think deep down inside that's the energy. And I think that's why I've gotten to where I've gotten to today, because I'm a powerful manifester. But it's still that windy, curvy path, right? I always assume it's going to be there, and I always assume it's going to be a challenge. So even when there's a possibility or opportunity where it's not going to be, where it's actually going to be ease, my brain doesn't know how to compute it because it thinks it needs to be complicated. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're
saying. It thinks
saying.
it needs to no, that can't be true. It needs to be more complicated than that. Like it needs to be hard. You got to do this to get that. That's not simple. You
But
know,
does
and
it
it kind of comes
need
down
to
to it.
be?
It doesn't. It doesn't. That's what I'm realizing now. Like I am the one who's overcomplicating it. Like no, for real. Like
She's a complicated girlie.
And it's because of my experience
But-
and moving to New York alone, like, and not asking for help. Problems and situations arise. I'm also the oldest. I didn't learn from anybody.
You have to figure it out yourself.
I had to figure it out myself.
Same here.
So it was a lot of doing that over and over again, failing over and over and over again, right? And then growing up and understanding, like, you know, our parents are older than us, so they teach you about like racism, right? But our parents aren't doing the things that we are trying to do or accomplish, right? So some of the things that we encountered, they don't even understand, or they don't teach you about ahead of time. The systems
have changed.
The systems have changed, right?
Yeah.
And the systems, they're just different. When certain situations happen, I didn't know. There was a lot I didn't know. Because I was like, oh shit, I'm an adult now, and this is actually affecting me in this way. It's stopping me from doing all the things that I dreamed of as a kid. So now I'm just assuming that's how everything is in adulthood. For a Black woman, at least.
I can understand that.
That's how I'm assuming everything. So now that I'm not in that space, you know, it's like being dropped off on a different planet or in a different timeline, and then they say you gotta live here. You know, you see the movies, and they're like, you gotta figure out how to fit in, how to make this work until you start to thrive.
Right.
It's gotten to that point. I'm feeling like,
yeah. Well, that's good. And I want to, because you said a few minutes ago that you felt like the last 2 weeks were a regression.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's regression. I do think that that's growth too, because you're hyper aware that there's been, like, that is the growth to say, like, I know that at the point that I could do this thing and I was doing this thing, and then 2 weeks later, I'm not doing this thing. And you have the awareness to know that's growth. And I think for people out there, if you can't recognize where you've fallen or where you've slipped up, I think that is a lack of growth, because typically there's a level of ignorance around our behavior, which is why we find ourselves in cycles. We don't realize we're in a cycle until someone points it out, or we have a revelation like this is a cycle. So the fact that in the last these last 2 weeks, you recognize like there's been a shift from my trajectory, or the trajectory that I was on, that I'm starting to see some differences. I think it's still part of your growth, and it's not a regression, because you're like, no, I'm being triggered. These things are happening, and I find myself reacting this way. And now you have the tools to confront it.
Yeah.
Like with awareness.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right, because the biggest thing was realizing that the fix to breaking the cycle was not the actual cycle itself. It was all of these creative little U-turns in between, all these little things that was creating this big cycle. Like it really goes to like daily, right? And that creates your life. And now that I'm in this space, that's why I had to, like you said, you start doing something. It's kind of like that. I'm like, oh, what happened this week, right? I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't do my artist date. I didn't do this, and I want to do this. And I didn't do this self-care act this week. And I've been consistent on taking care of myself. What happened this week? And I think about everything that happens, and I'm like, that's what old Prais'Jah would do. That's why you haven't done that, because you're acting in old Prais'Jah. So you can't do all the new stuff that's in your new life right now. But I also think it's part of me being in the last week of this book, and just in my life in general. Like I feel like I'm in that last like where you're finally taking off. Like I'm in the waiting room.
Right.
Like I'm being held. Like I told my man, he said, try to explain how you feel. I said, how little Prais'Jah feels, right? I said, little Prais'Jah feels like somebody put her in a beautiful room, but they locked the door, turned off the lights, and it's pitch black, and I can't see anything. And I'm searching for the light, right? The light switch, so I can turn it on, but I'm not doing myself any service. I just need to sit in the dark and wait for the light to just reveal itself. And then I can, or maybe a little light, and then I can go find the light switch. Right. But like if I'm searching for it and panicking, I'm never going to find it. I'm just going to literally panic. And that's what I'm doing the last 2 weeks. I've been, because the little Prais'Jah is like, oh, we're scared. We don't know. Like, I literally have no fucking idea what's going to happen, like, in the next 2 weeks, next month.
I think that's where we differ. I like us because I thrive. I thrive on the unknown.
And that's why I love you, and that's why I
I'm
begin to
like,
talk to you in
whatever.
situations like
I don't
this.
know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna figure it out. Like the uncomfortableness, because for me, like not knowing, I can't make any mistakes.
Oh hell no! Like my little me, like little Prais'Jah is like this little person who's like taking care of everything and everyone. So like she can't imagine not having anything in control. Like if mommy's upset, I'm gonna figure out a way to make mommy happy again. If this is happening, I'm gonna figure out a way to ease everything, make sure the sisters are good, make sure this person has ate. If like you get what I'm saying? Like so I'm used to doing that. Because I know I can look around me and say, okay, she's feeling this way, that person's doing that, so this is what I need to do, fix, and now I can.
That makes when you say little, it's funny. So when you like speak of yourself in little Prais'Jah, it makes so much sense because then when I speak, hearing you say that, and I speak of little Gavin, like little Gavin is just dreaming, daydreaming, playing pretend, playing make believe. The world could be following, burning around. It's like la da da.
And they're like, "Hey, little Gavin, fill out this form." You're like, "No." Like, so you can play more. Fill out this form so you can play more. You're like, I can't play right now.
I'm playing right now. Oh, that's so funny. Like when you be like, that's like little Prais'Jah sitting here about it. Like, no, little Gavin is somewhere in the corner playing make believe. Oh, my heart is.
So you gotta send her.
My heart is full for little Prais'Jah and little Gavin.
Yeah. That's why we're so giddy when we're doing this podcast. It's literally little Prais'Jah and little Gavin.
Little Prais'Jah needs to have everything organized. Gavin's over here like, okay, I don't know.
It works perfectly though.
Are we talking about something tonight? I don't know. Yeah, no.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't done this. I haven't at the top of you. Like, it's okay. It's gonna work out. I'm like, we need to cancel the podcast today because I haven't done this. You're like, no, we already said it. Let's just do it. And
Let's just do it.
Okay.
Okay. So next question to you, my friend, is how do you balance personal challenges while staying committed to your bigger purpose?
That's a big one. Because I'm still learning. That is the thing. That is the biggest thing that I am trying to learn right now, and I do not have it figured out yet. So I cannot even give the answer to that. I can just tell you what I've been going through, and like I've said again, self-help. So the artist way was one, realizing that I was blocked creatively. For example, what's been happening to me the past 2 weeks is a great example. I'm waiting to hear back from this job. I'm just waiting for a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do with my life? And then I'm like, do all the things that you were doing before you got this information.
Right.
Don't do too much and don't try to plan a full to-do list of things to do because you're not going to do it because you're blocked. So there's no point in doing that. And that's being addicted to workaholism. Like you're just trying to work, just have a to-do list and you're not getting anything done. It's literally not being productive. So mine was going back to myself, doing all of the things that I care about, and then doing my artist dates. So I collaged because that's something that I used to do when I was younger. So I played. I was like, I need to play in order to get back. And that helped me. Like when I tell you it was so bad, like, and this is how I knew I was not grounded and centered. Because after I got the information about the job and the launch party, because this all happened within 2 days.
Oh no.
Right? And then the whole going viral thing, like this has all happened back to back within the past 2 weeks. So when this first information came, I took the wrong bus to my yoga class. I got lost. I don't ever get lost. And then I hit myself in the face with the rent umbrella, the umbrella that we rented, and I knocked off the piece and I had a knot on my face. I was going to the gym and the door hit me and the elevator hit me. The door scraped off a chunk of my arm. So I'm the type of person, when I'm not grounded, I can feel it in my body. It all goes to my body. Like when I get stressed, it goes to my body. I feel it all in my T-zone. My neck starts to get crooks. Like, and then I just start fucking myself up. Like I start getting clumsy. That's how I know. So when I started beating myself up, missing my yoga class, like I was like, wait, you need to take a beat.
Time out.
Time out. You know, I told you I did. I'll go to a dentist appointment and it's not until next week, even though it's on my schedule. Like I just started acting like a crazy, erratic person. And that's when I know now. It's because I'm living a different life. And if I'm
Right.
acting like old me, I cannot live that life. And so now that I know, I see the pattern and how it shows up, I'm
Right.
like, okay, now I know what do I need to do for myself. Take a minute, don't do anything. Honestly, I smoke a blunt. Sit, take a minute, and then think about what you can do to play. What did you do when you were younger that calmed you down and made you feel at ease? And it was being physically active
Yeah.
and play. But before I got back to the physical active part, I had to play a little bit, get back to me internally. So I did some meditation, I smoked, I collaged, I started getting it back. I started getting those creative ideas again. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
she's coming back. I
She's
feel it.
coming.
Yeah. So it's a lot of those little things. Just little initiatives.
Right.
I would say little self care.
You know
Yes.
I'm the king of self-care.
Yes. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to do that.
I think all of I think all of us are still learning. I'm most definitely learning.